In this video, I'm not going to show you 10, but 11 of the best young strikers FM22 has to offer. And the reason for 11 is there's so many good strikers, I just couldn't get my list down to 10 names, so you're gonna get one extra in this video. And when I say youngsters, I focus on players that are 20 years or younger. And as always with youngsters in Football Manager, there's a little bit of RNG involved, which means their potential can vary from save to save. So make sure to scout them yourself. But first up on this list, we have a 19-year-old German with a long name. Ransford-Yeboah Königsdörffer, or something like that. And at 19 years old, he already starts to look really, really good. And he's currently playing in the second league in Germany, which might mean that he could be a little bit cheaper than some of the other players on this list. So this is a player well worth scouting, not only for his great skills and his potential, but maybe you can get him for a good price too. Then we are going to Italy and Inter, and where we find a Uruguayan 20-year-old striker, Martín Satriano. And looking at his nationality, he has Italian as second nationality, which could make it easier to sign him to other nations. And he has been in Inter for 3 seasons, but is yet to make his first team debut. But looking at these skills, he definitely should be getting some rotation time very soon. And next up, we find this 18-year-old Slovenian player playing for Salzburg. It's Benjamin Cesco, and at 18 years old, he has so much potential. We see so much green here, and especially his physical and his mental attributes are really, really strong. I'm giving him a few more seasons to develop, and all of these will look even better. And he's already picked up 2 caps for his national team. Next, we are traveling to England and Tottenham Hotspurs, where we find this 17-year-old English player, Dane Scarlett, and he is just 17 with these stats, and he's just 17. And he already made his Premier League debut last season. That is sensational. One of the most promising young English strikers in the game. And back to Italy, where we find this 20-year-old playing for Pisa, Lorenzo Lucca, and Lorenzo is already starting to look sensational. Not only is he already 15 in finishing, but we also find that 17 in heading, 18 determination, 17 in jumping reach. Look at this lad's H. He's already over 2 meters long. He is a beast, and a very skillful beast looking at these stats. And we are back at Salzburg, where we find this 19-year-old German striker. He can play on the right side too, but I feel like in the middle is his best position. He's a little bit weak on the finishing side, but maybe working as a pressing forward or a false line, he can be really, really good at these positions. And he is very, very quick. He has a high pace, he has a high acceleration, and his dribbling abilities, his off the ball, his work rate are all really, really good for his age. A very promising young German striker. And we are staying in England, but this time it's a Brazilian striker contracted for Watford. It's João Pedro, and we see so much green here. At 19, he is starting to look better and better, and he can also play on both sides. I would say his only weakness is more or less that he is lacking a bit in the finishing department, but I feel like with the age, and if you focus his training on finishing, he can become a fantastic striker. And of course, he made his debut for Watford in the Premier League all the way back in the 2019-2020 season. So this youngster is getting experience. And yet again, we are sticking to England, this time it's Wolves, and a Portuguese striker, 18-year-old Fábio Silva. And at 18-year-old, he is looking better and better. And of course, he made his debut, was a regular starter in the Premier League already last season. And before that, he did some matches for Porto. So this is a youngster with a bright future. Bunch of more years left to develop. And he's already starting to look fantastic in many of his stats. And guess what? We are still in England. And we have Mason Greenwood, Manchester United, 19-year-old England. He can play on the right side, but with 17 at finishing and all these insane stats, I mean, look at that pace, 17, 16 in acceleration, 16 in flair, 17 in finishing, and even 17 in determination. I mean, he is already good enough to be a regular starter in most clubs in the world, and he's just 19. He already picked up his first cap for England, and of course he's belonging to United forever, and he's made his debut all the way back in the 2018-2019 season. A fantastic young striker here in FM22. And we are finally leaving England and going to Germany, Borussia Dortmund. And first off, before we say anything more, look at these stats. 15 dribbling, 15 finishing, 14 first touch, 16 technique, 14 composure, 16 acceleration, 16 agility, 15 natural fitness, 15 pace. Okay, these stats are insane. And then the madness begins. Because then we take a look at Youssoufa Moukoko's age. He is just 16 years old. 16 years old with these stats. His stats are better than players that are in their prime 10 years later. It's just insane. Like, what's up with this at 16 years old? Now, clearly, he won't be cheap, but if you can get him, he will be worth every single dime you spend on this wonder kid. And of course, you know, everyone knows that it was going to end like this. It's not my fault that Harlan is still 20 years old, so he makes the cut for this list. But clearly, he is just insane. I mean, it's not even a football manager in real life. If you watch him on telly, it's just insane. Last season in the Bundesliga, he scored 27 goals in 28 games. And to that, he scored a lot in other competitions. And before that, 13 goals in 15 games. And, well, this is a lad we have already heard about for quite a few years. And we're going to be hearing about him for like 15 more years. Already top 3 best strikers in the game, most likely. But as I said, there was some really tough competition for the spots on this list. So did I miss any of your favorite young strikers? Share your knowledge in the comment section below. And of course, if you found this video helpful, press that like button because that helps me out. And if you're new here, subscribe to the channel for more FM22 content. Thank you for watching.